Another
Let's go
one.
in. Let's go in.
Another one here. Another one there.
I'm still alive. I'm
There's
still
so
alive.
much. There's so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thanks, man.
Oh, I love you.
Oh my God, there's so much going on right now. There's so much going on right now. I can't hear. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm super excited to talk to you about something that's been really exciting for me for the year, and that is Battlebit Remastered. But before we get started, I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Gumurak. I'm a variety streamer over on Twitch, and I like to do YouTube videos for the games that I cover. And I want to give a huge thankful shout out to all the people that have recently been subscribing to the channel. You guys are amazing, and we are just about 170 away from our goal for the year of 1,000 people. So if you guys like the content today, make sure you hit that subscription button, hit the bell notification to know when I put on a new video. I know you hear that from every YouTuber, but honestly, the engagement gives us feedback to improve our videos, and it also gets our name out there. So if you want to support the channel, make sure you guys are smashing all those buttons, and thank you very much for even considering it. Well, let's talk about Battlebit Remastered and how its impact is on the community. Battlebit Remastered is made by 3 people that have made $27 million in the first 2 weeks of the release of the game. It's just further proof that the larger game community in the AAA space is completely out of touch with what their play base wants, because a game like Battlebit can make an extremely large amount of money in a short period of time. The issue that you run into is the argument on whether this will be able to maintain their model throughout an entire 12-month space or not. That's been the issue that's been plaguing the industry lately, and to be frankly honest, if we look at the AAA space, the reason why their games suffer is because they're too concentrated on money. Just last year alone, Bobby Kotick made $155 million as his standard salary and $22 million in stock bonuses, totaling $177 million, which is more money than the majority of staff make combined in a lot of industries and a lot of studios. If a game like Battlebit Remastered was making $177 million a year, it would be able to be played infinitely, and everybody would be handsomely paid at the studio for the work that they're doing. However, that is not reality, and obviously there are server costs and employee costs and everything else that you have that are costs that run a business, but this isn't a business we're talking about here. We're talking about one man's salary. At what point does a CEO make more money than is actually being put into the title of their games on a regular basis? This is the reason why a good number of creators like myself have been moving over to the indie space or looking at games in the indie space, because you get more bang for the buck, because the people are more interested in making their game successful and profitable to keep it running, and either to provide good content for the people than it is to just have the largest paycheck and the biggest dick to swing around at the table of CEOs that happen every year when they talk about what they're doing for the year. What it has proven is that a model like Battlebit Remastered has done, where they do supporter packs and not draining you every year for like a battle pass or other cosmetic items that can be bought, is that they're more concentrated on, hey, if you want to support us, you can, and that has resulted in a astronomical amount of support for the sheer number of people that are playing the game. There are roughly 64 to 68,000 people playing this game on any regular basis. Those numbers are rivaling COD Warzone. Don't believe me? Let's take a look at a couple charts here. Battlebit has an interesting story in which it is not a new game by any means. It has been remastered, which is hence the name. But you can see it's starting to pick up steam in 2020 when they started to do certain playtests and making changes to the game to fit a more arcade style for the more casual consumer. As those playtests started to get more and more people involved and content creators, you can see the numbers started to climb up drastically in 2021. By 2022, we started to have a steady climb of the player base, and then the blue line you can see is actually the release of Battlefield 2042. There's obviously a sharp number of when the game started from the release date, and then you can see it plummet from there. And then the graphs that we're going to look at are from the past 3 months when it looks at numbers, but they have managed to maintain a player base higher than Battlefield 2042 since its release date. And here you can see the numbers compared to COD. Now, of course, this is just through Steam because this is just Steam charts, in which it is touching tips with Warzone currently. So to address the question on whether I think you should buy it or not, the answer is yes. $15, you get 36 maps up to 256 players, I believe. It goes down to 127, 64, and then 30, I believe, or 32. I don't remember the exact numbers off the top of my head, but there's an astronomical amount of content in this game for $15. You get guns, leveling, skins. There's just so much that's gone into this game that even proven with 2042 that there is more content in this game than there was on 2042's launch. It's one of the many reasons why the game has been so successful, because not only is it $15 and has a load of content, it is also a live service game, and they are actively making changes to the game and adding things to it as they go. They have not asked for any additional money whatsoever. However, we're still in the honeymoon phase of the release of this game, so the question is really, is this going to be able to be a sustainable model, which is the number one thing that people have been mentioning when it comes to this compared to a AAA title. AAA titles are meant to stand the test of time as long as possible if they can. In this particular case, Battlebit wanted to do the same thing, but they wanted to do it without yearly draining their customers for as much money as possible. These people are not concerned with making $177 million per person. Even making $27 million is beyond any expectation that the three developers for this game had ever had imagined, and now they have the ability to continue their work in grand fashion. So what we're seeing here is the reverse of what we've been seeing in the industry for a long time. The game is solely concentrated on the player base and what the player base wants, including the things that you've seen them change in the first 2 weeks of release. Personally, I think this is the model that the gaming industry should be following at this point in time, because trying to follow any other model is resulting in dinosaur-aged models that fail. We've seen this recently in the collapse for the Cycle, for example. It's a very competitive market because the market doesn't make any money unless you catch notoriety or popularity. In this particular case, this is the same thing that's going on here for this title, but this title is concentrated on their player base, and their player base is supporting them wholeheartedly on the basis of their actions. This is what we've been telling the AAA space for years now, which is that if you act accordingly, we will support accordingly. If there needs to be any more proof of it, we can certainly see other titles that are probably going to be in the indie space, like Transients, which are going to knock it out of the park and have the exact same thing. I predicted earlier in the year that we're going to start seeing banger titles coming out of the indie space because we're getting tired of seeing the AAA space juicing us to death. This is a prime example of that, and I hope the trend continues. For now, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, and I hope you guys enjoyed the commentary over Battlebit instead of doing coverage for the game, because there's a million people that have already reviewed the game, but I wanted to review its success story. Today, we have a big win for the independent industry for gaming, and I can't wait to see what more this development team brings to us. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Remember to tell your loved ones you love them often. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.